doing here is we were giving some ideas of how you could build something like an abandoned cart. Now, we use that term, again, we used it very loosely. It could be an abandoned cart. It could be, we wanted them to schedule an appointment and they clicked the button but didn't actually go through with it. Lots of different utilizations for doing that. But what we had was, a trigger goal, a stop and re-trigger goal, and then a third stop goal. So I'm going to kind of use these as our samples. So what we mean by that are these goals are all of our starts and our stops, right? They're the way to start a sequence or the way to stop a sequence. And there's a lot of them, right? So when we've got our trigger goal, those most people get pretty clearly, right? This particular event happens, so we want to push them into a sequence, right? It's the stop goals that kind of trip people up, or especially when you put them in the middle of things, right? So this email link clicked. This is a great goal if you wanted to. And again, we're going to kind of backtrack just a little bit and revisit just to make sure it's super, super clear, right? So let's say you had, an email that you had a link and you wanted to know when somebody clicked the link, right? You wanted to know if they clicked on book a cleaning, or you wanted to know if they clicked on this. Now, one thing that came up recently with a client was that what they were doing is when this was happening, they were going ahead and applying the tag there, like they booked the appointment. And our hesitation with doing that, that's why I wanted to kind of dive in a little bit deeper with you guys, because you've been in classroom a little bit, you've got some finer, got a little bit more information. You can apply a tag, for instance, when somebody clicks a button. Now, why I wouldn't necessarily do that is because just because they clicked the button to book a consultation doesn't mean they necessarily did it, right? Just because they clicked the button to purchase something doesn't mean they followed through and checked out. So we typically don't recommend for things that have an actual, end result. They've scheduled, they've purchased, right? We probably wouldn't put a they've done it tag. We might, however, put a they clicked on it tag. Does that make sense? So kind of give us a history of a behavior that they did. They clicked on this button. I'm going to pull out. So we could use this, like they clicked on this one, or we could use a tag in place of that instead, right? Why might we choose one over the other one? Flexibility. That's all. Right? So instead of the email link clicked, we apply the tag when they click the button, and the tag is what pulls them out and moves them. There's something that the tag in between can do differently than the link clicked can, and that's why I wanted to show you. And again, we're going to a higher level here. So if I'm getting over your head, please slow me down and stop me, okay? This little blue box here allows you to decide when the goal is achieved. So you could tell it just the people that are in this automation, right? Which means if they were in the preceding sequence and they got the tag applied, they're the only ones going through. But they could also be any contact. Okay. When you choose any contact, see that little blue circle? Why might that be helpful? Because maybe they got this tag some other way, and you still wanted them to follow up inside of here, right? That's why I say sometimes that tag gives a little bit more flexibility. Now I'm going to stop there for a second and just kind of touch base. Does that make sense?